This one is the square root of 16, square root of 2, so that should be 4 square root of 2. This one should be 2 square root of 2. We've done this one numerous times. It does not change. It's always going to be the square root of 2. This one breaks up as square root of 4, square root of 6. Your answer should be 2 square root of 6. It cannot be square root of 2, square root of 6. Once you take the square root of a number such as this, the sign disappears. It does not keep going on. I've had folks before do this. Square root of 64 is square root of 8 is 2 square root of 2. That does not work out. Once you take the square root from here to there, the sign is gone and nothing else is necessary. This one breaks up as the square root of 16, square root of 3. That's 4 square root of 3 for the answer. Pick a number from 1 to 20. The winning numbers are 2, 11, 13, 15, 18. Today's objective is to simplify radical expressions. And you'll have a test on Friday. We'll continue on with the review that we started yesterday and work our way back up and finish tomorrow. Flashcards, when you think you know the answer, just say it out loud. 2 square root of 2. 2 square root of 3. 3 square root of 2. 2 square root of 6. 4 square root of 2. 4 square root of 3. This one should be 2 square root of 15. Six square root of 2, that's right. Two square root of 7. 6. Example 1. You have a 2 square root of 2 on the top and a 3 square root of 3 on the bottom. Multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 3. When you do that on the top, the 2 here stays. Square root of 2, square root of 3 is square root of 6. On the bottom, this 3 stays, but these two multiplied together give me 3. The top stays the same. On the bottom, you have 9. You cannot simplify this any further, and you cannot simplify these any further. This is the final answer. Example 2. Do I multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 6? Yes, you can reduce. Instead of multiplying the top and the bottom by the square root of 6, it is simply square root of 2. You can simplify square roots over square roots. For example, this would be square root of 2. You can simplify them, not only divide outright, but just simplify them and still end up with square roots on the top and the bottom. Here's practice 1. Multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 2, or you could simplify this first and make that 1 over 2, and then multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 2. On the top it's square root of 6, on the bottom it's 2 times 2. This is the 2 here, and then these two multiplied together give me this 2. So it should be square root of 6 over 4. On this one, this times this is square root of 6, times this is 6. So it's 6 square root of 2. Two and 4 against the 8 gives me 8. 8 square root of 3. We'll go back through this one again. What did you do first?
Okay, I did the square root of 4.
Okay, that's 2.
Right. Okay, then I did the square root of 8.
Which is 2 square root of 2.
And then I times the 2 and the 2. So the other 2.
Oh, okay, so this 2 times this 2.
Which is 4.
So you have 4 square root of 2.
Okay, and then 2 times 3 is 6. So I got 4 square root of 6.
And this times this.
It's 4 square root of 6.
Oh, okay, this one times this one, a 4 square root of 6?
Yep.
Huh. What about this? Whoops, that moved everything. If we did this, that's a 2. And then this times this, square root of 6, square root of 48. So we have 2 square root of 48 so far. We have this and this. If I break this up and come up with 16 and 3, which makes it 4 square root of 3, 2 times 4 is 8. Then we get 8 square root of 3.
So how did I get that last thing?
Well, we're going to go back through it one more time and see if we can figure out what you did. I think I must have skipped over your mistake or for some way, but you did this first.
Right, I did.
And came up with 2.
Yes, and then I did the square root of 8, which would be 2 square root of 2.
2 square root of 2, right.
Okay, and then I times both of the 2's together.
4 square root of 2. Now let's keep track of what we have. This is gone, and this is gone.
Okay. And so is the square root of 2.
No. We haven't done anything with this yet.
Okay, so then I did the square root of 3 times square root of 2, which would be 4 square root of 6.
4 square root of 6.
Right.
But you still have the square root of 2 you haven't used yet.
So that would be 12, and then 4, that would be 8. Okay.
Yeah. All right, you found it. Here's another bonus. All right, this one. This and this will give me 3. This gives me a 2, and I still have square root of 2 left, so it should be 6 square root of 2. On this problem, you can divide 4 and 2 to get 2, and square root of 6 over square root of 3 to get square root of 2. 2 square root of 2. When you multiply these two together, you should get square root of 18, but that can be simplified to 9 and 2. You'll get 3 square root of 2 for your final answer. Alright, on this one, it's going to end up being the square root of 24, which breaks up as 4 and 6. So you should have 2 square root of 6. This one is the square root of 36, which is simply 6. This one should break up as 16 and 3. So you'll have 4 square root of 3 for your final answer. We did this one today during the warm-up quiz. Or flashcards, actually, during the flashcards. It's 2 square root of 15. This one we also did during the flashcards, I believe. That should be 4 square root of 2. This one we did during the flashcards as well. This one is 36 and 2, which breaks up to be 6 square root of 2. Example 3. This one is 12 square root of 18 over 8 square root of 12. Before you do anything, see if you can simplify it and make it easier on yourself. 12 over 8, 4 goes into both of those. So that would be 3 over 2. And square root of 18 over square root of 12, you can factor out a square root of 6 out of both of those to get square root of 3 over square root of 2. And that's a lot simpler. So multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 2. And come up with 3 square root of 6 over 2, which is this one, times 2, which come from these. That would be 3 square root of 6 over 4. Example 4. On this problem, you're going to have 24 square root of 12 over 16 square root of 8. I can simplify 24 and 16. 8 goes into both of those. So that would be 3 over 2. For the 12 and the 8, I can get a square root of 6, or not a square root of 6, but a square root of 4 out of both of them and come up with 3 over 2. Now sometimes it's possible to break it down a little differently. What if I took out the square root of 2 from both of them and not simplify them as completely as I technically could? What happens if I cut them both in half? I get a square root of 6 on top, and then I get a what on the bottom? A square root of 4, which is what? A 2. So I get 3 square root of 6 over 4. Now let's compare that to what we would have had we done it the other way by dividing these all the way down. We're going to do the same problem, only this time after we reduce here and here to get 3 over 2, we're going to reduce here and here completely as opposed to the last way that we did it. I can get a square root of 4 out of both of those and come up with square root of 3 over square root of 2. And then multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 2 to get 3 square root of 6 over 2 times 2. So 3 square root of 6 over 4. Is that the same as the last time we did it? Yes, so you can finagle these a little bit to where you don't have to multiply by the top and the bottom if you can reduce in such a way that you get a perfect square. So remember, we could have gone down to 6, or actually 3 and 2 there, but then we had to multiply the top and the bottom by this. So instead, we simply cut these in half on the previous run through, and this became a square root of 6. This was a square root of 4, which became 2. Either way, the answer is this. Try this one. Bring it up. On the practice, this and this can cancel by 4, so you have 4 over 3. And then for this one, cut it down by 8, so it's square root of 4 over square root of 3. And this goes to 2, so we really have an 8 over 3 square root of 3. If I multiply the top and the bottom of that by square root of 3, I get 8 square root of 3 over 6, which reduces down to 4 square root of 3 over 3. Well, this is terrible. I just was told that 3 times 3 is 9. I thought I learned that a long time ago, but evidently not. So that would be 8 square root of 3 over 9 is the final answer, and ignore this nonsense here. I don't know why that happened, but 8 square root of 3 over 9 is the answer. This one you can reduce in several ways, but what I did is I cut these in half and made them square root of 16 over square root of 10, which is 4 over square root of 10, but you have to multiply the top and the bottom by square root of 10 to get 4 square root of 10 over 10, which is 2 square root of 10 over 5. On this problem, you can reduce it down to 1 over the square root of 2, but multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 2 to get square root of 2 over 2. The answer for about the, what, is this the 4th or 5th time? 3rd? It should be 4 square root of 2. How about this one? The answer on this is 6 square root of 2. It's 36 and 2 when you break it up. What about this one? The answer, we've done this one at least 3 times this class. It should be 4 square root of 3. This one, try this. This one is probably the 2nd time we've done this one. This is 2 square root of 7.